Hi, I'm Siobhan and I've got you on top of my fridge. So I basically have wanted to create this video for a while now. I don't even know where I'm looking. I'm not very prepared, I'm not, but we're here now. So yeah, I've wanted to start a channel for a while. Welcome to Shiv's Trying a Thing. I should probably lead with that first. I've got a book with my notes inside. Basically, I've wanted to create a YouTube channel for a while now because I want to be able to help people. Well, I want to help myself first of all, and I feel like creating something like this would hold me accountable to myself and to hopefully a community of people if that happens, if I make it that far. But I'm trying, that's the main thing, like positive thinking. So my plan is, right, that I want to create this YouTube channel to help myself, to be able to help other people. I'm gonna be serious now. I actually want to create a side hustle. I want to have multiple side hustles and I want to have passive incomes. So the plan is, I've got an idea for a few passive incomes that I would like to be able to succeed in. And I want to document my journey on YouTube so that I can possibly help other people to also follow their side hustle dreams and be able to make become lucrative in what it is that they would like to do. I don't want to just have any side hustle. I don't want to have any passive income. I want to have something that I'm genuinely passionate about. And I also want to use this new way of living to be able to help me to grow as a person and be able to become a better person. That's basically where I'm at. I was gonna plan out a whole YouTube video and I was gonna sit there and write out how I want my content to be. I was gonna try and capture as much B-roll footage as I could and, you know, get some cutesy shots of me walking in the garden and have some cute shots of me sipping on some tea, a bit of coffee, you know. I was gonna do all of that. And then I decided, no, actually, I don't wanna do that. I wanna create something for myself that's gonna be sustainable. I'm gonna create something for myself that will be sustainable and that I can keep up with. But this, me talking to my phone or my fridge, I could probably sustain every day. So let's move on to my first side hustle. This isn't actually my first side hustle. I've had a few side hustles over the years, but they've been things that they've made me money, but they haven't been things that I've been passionate about. And I'm someone that is passion driven. If I'm not passionate about something, more than likely I'll probably get bored of it and quit. So I've actually written down my notes and I've got points that I would like to actually cover in this video. I don't want it to be just like a bunch of waffle cakes of me just chatting. So in terms of like why I want to start doing this journey and what the journey will look like for me. I am really passionate about creating things, and one of the things I am naturally good at is creating poetry. I used to write poetry a lot. Let me go back before I go forward. I used to create poetry a lot when I was younger. When I was a child, actually, I used to do a lot of poetry and I really enjoyed doing it. I never really did it from a place of my own emotions and my own voice. I did it from a place of, I don't know, I would see a pretty sunshine, skyline, something like that, and I would create a piece of poetry from that. It was good to do because it helped me to be able to be reflective, but I never really wrote from my own emotions or things that were going on in my life. And over the years I felt like I lost my voice for various reasons. It was buried pretty deep and I felt like something naturally just said to me, write about it. And I decided to write a poem, and it was the first poem I ever wrote. It was about being with one of the exes. That poem felt so good to write. It was like a form of release for me, like speaking about how I actually felt, how I really felt about the situation that I was in. It made me feel strong. It reflected back to me who I wanted to be. But that process reflected back to me the person that I wanted to be, someone that had a voice, someone that was able to use her voice freely and not worry about the consequences of who's gonna like it and who's not. And I just loved that. So basically, through doing poetry, I would like my first passion side hustle to be creating a self-published book. It's so within my reach, it's so obtainable, I know it is. I think what lets me down is consistency. So that's another reason why I wanted to create this channel so that I can regularly put out videos and in turn hopefully be consistent, because I'll have accountability there that I'm putting this out. Yeah, I basically started imagining myself having this book, and every day I started creating poems. And at the time, it wasn't because I was trying to write this book, it was just because I found it as a form of release. It was almost like very therapeutic to me. And so I just continued to do it every day. So when I was like on the train going to work, I would write a poem. If I had a spare 5 minutes, I would write a poem. At the time, I was still pretty deep in the situation I was in with my ex, which was a very toxic relationship. It gave me a lot of power to be able to do that at the time, because I really lost my voice in that relationship. It helped me to develop that voice in a safe way. So yeah, I wanted to be able to share my poems with people. And that wasn't something that I always wanted to do. That came about through me being at work one day. So like I said, I had lost my confidence in terms of like trying to find my voice and stuff. That was quite evidential, I guess, with me being in the workplace. Although I was really good at my work, having a voice was just like, what the heck is that? Like, who's trying to have a voice at work? I was so petrified of speaking up for myself. I was petrified of creating waves if I needed to, because it made me feel like a bad person. I was petrified of giving presentations or just having a voice in general, like creating that space for myself. It's almost like I didn't feel like I was worthy of having space, or of taking up space. So I would let other people do it for me. And if there was a time that I had to create space, whether it was doing presentations or whatever, my gosh, the night before, the day of, the anxiety that I was suffering from was real. So yeah, that became a known thing where I was working. I felt like once I made it a known thing, people started treating me that way, kind of pussyfooting around me, in terms of, oh, Siobhan, would you mind? Are you okay to... People had a hawk's eye on me. I don't even know if this is the right term, but I felt like people had a hawk's eye? Eagle eye. Is that a word? Is that a term? I don't know. I felt like people were zoomed in on me, basically. I felt like people were really hyper-focusing when they knew that I was going to present or whatever. It was like, oh my gosh, she's going to present. That type of thing. And that made me feel even more anxious, because everyone knew that I was anxious. So it just didn't feel easy. I didn't feel at ease presenting in that particular circumstance, because I didn't feel like it gave me room to grow. If anything, it made me feel more claustrophobic, because I knew everyone was like hyper focused on the fact that I was stepping out of my shell. Anyways, all of that to say, there was a colleague that I had who I didn't really speak to too much. Not for any particular reason, we just never really crossed paths like that. And one day we had like a social day at work, and me and her got to speaking, and it was actually a really nice conversation. And she started telling me about like what she does outside of work, and I was like, oh my gosh, I didn't know you did that. Like, I was really interested in her life, and she showed interest in mine. And she asked me about my hobbies, and I told her about all of the different things that I do. One of the things that I mentioned was poetry, and then I moved on to something else. And she was like, no, like, we can't just skip past the fact that you said you do poetry. Like, where's the poetry at? I want to see what you write. So I showed her one of my poems, and she was like, whoa, that was like really good. And I guess she didn't expect it from me, because I'm normally quite a quiet person. Like, she just didn't expect it of me, basically. And so she was like, oh, can I read a few more? So I started showing them to her, and then she just like, first of all, we was like laughing and kikiing up together or whatever, and then she was just like, basically she was like, girl, don't waste your voice. Like, you need to be putting these poems out there. People need to be reading these things. You've got a voice, use it, don't waste it. That's like what I remember her telling me, do not waste your voice. And even though I knew that I was like quite introverted and shy and stuff like that, I never really thought about it like that. Like, I'd been denying myself of having a voice, and sharing, the more importantly was sharing that voice with other people. And I felt like I just felt, it wasn't until that conversation that it sort of made it aware to me that I had been basically denying myself a voice, because I just felt like I didn't deserve one. I felt like there was people that were better suited to have a voice, and I was happy to just sort of stay on the sidelines. I'd been doing that for so many years, and it wasn't until I started doing poetry and I guess doing therapy that I started to realised how much I'd suppressed my voice over the years, and stuffed it down through relationships, through like whether it's relationships with family members, friends, partners, whatever. I'd been like stuffing down my voice, and just letting people do the most, basically. And I just decided one day that I didn't want to be like that anymore. Hence why I started going to therapy. And obviously it's still something that I struggle with, but I do feel like through doing poetry, it's really helped me to be able to just give myself another platform. Basically, the idea is I want to create as many platforms for myself as possible to be able to advocate for myself and to share who I am as a person. And I just feel like doing a YouTube channel would be the perfect opportunity to do that, and also to pair that up with the fact that I want to create this book, and I want this book to be about me having a voice. And through doing all of that, I'm hoping that it helps with like my self-development and and growing as a person to become a better version of myself. And I want to be able to give myself a set period of time. Basically, next year, like March, I want to be a completely different person. I don't want to be not me. I don't want to be like not Siobhan, but I want to completely have a rebrand. So that's not to change who I am as a person, but that's to change how I'm expressing myself as a person. Don't want to be afraid to, I don't want to let fear govern the decisions that I'm making in life. And I feel like this whole journey will be a really big part of me just stepping into the person that I feel like I'm supposed to be. Okay, so let's step into like the whole side hustle part of it. So I've always wanted to have my own thing. I feel like I'm better suited to being my own boss. I've got great ideas, and I do struggle with, not in a bad way obviously, but I struggle being told what to do. I struggle with just being told what to do. Like I can take direction, but when it comes to like creative control, and sometimes I just feel like I can do stuff better, you know? So I kind of just want to test out having my own thing. And like I've said before, I've had side hustles in the past. Some of them have been really successful, but again, it just wasn't something that I was interested in. Like just wasn't passionate about it. I found it very mundane and boring personally. So yeah, basically I'm just tired of the man, you know? I'm gonna stick it to the man. I think that's the term. I'm gonna stick it to the man. So yeah, this is side hustle numero. This is side hustle number 1 that I want to actually commit to, that I'm going to be passionate about and hold myself accountable for. And then the last thing that I wanted to speak about was the fact that I want to use this journey to be able to get all of the wheels going. Is that what I mean? I want to use this journey to be able to make the wheel balanced, if that makes sense. So the other day I was watching this video, and it was talking about what was it talking about? It was talking about, I can't even remember what the wheel is called. It's like the Wheel of Time or something like that. No, that's a TV show. It's called, I think it's the Wheel of Life. I don't know if it's that, but and it's basically a wheel. So you draw a wheel or a circle in a piece of paper. I don't know why I'm talking like this today. I think it's because I'm like nervous and I'm just chatting. But anyways, so it's a wheel, a circle, and you basically segment the circle up into different areas of your life. So you might have like spiritual, finances, education, maybe relationships, whether that's family and friends, health, I'm trying to think of other things that might be on there, but basically yeah, you segment it all up into different areas, and then for each area you give out of 10, I believe, where you think you're at in that segment of your life. So say for example finances, if you're doing quite well, you might give yourself an 8 out of 10 for that. And then for I don't know, health, if you haven't really been too healthy over the past years, or you haven't been working out, or haven't been taking fitness seriously, or drinking water like I haven't been, I mean, you might just rate yourself like a 2 out of 10, for example. And then the idea is that you're basically giving yourself an evaluation of how your life is going at the time. Ones that are like doing the worst, you then work on those areas in your life and try and find ways of changing that 2 out of 10 into like a 7 out of 10. So it's basically just auditing your life. And I've never really thought about auditing my life before, but I really love the concept. And it also spoke about this idea of in order for you're drawing a circle, in order for that circle to be able to move like a wheel, all of those areas need to have balance. So if you're doing really well in your finances, for example, because you're doing so well, so poorly in your fitness or your health, like having a 2 out of 10, that wheel is now no longer balanced. So it's not going to be able to spin and turn the way that it needs to. That turning is the movement of your life. That's your life growing and turning and growing and turning. If you're suffering in one area of that wheel, you're going to suffer in the whole wheel. So the idea behind what I want to do right now is I want to use the side hustle idea and the idea behind wanting to have my voice that would attribute to so many areas of my life. So I'm trying to explain it in the best way. So for example, because I know that my fitness is quite poor, I know that that affects my mental health, and my mental health not being great, that's then going to affect what I'm eating throughout the day. And I'm going to start eating junk. Now that junk that I'm eating is then going to make me feel tired, which is going to further affect how my health is doing. And now that I'm feeling tired, I'm not going to be as motivated to follow my dreams or to do what I need to be doing to be able to hit goals. So that's then going to affect how well I'm doing in my career. And how well I'm doing in my career is going to limit how much I can actually earn, which is then going to affect my finances. So you can see how all of that is going to affect how well my wheel is turning. Baby, I'm tired of my wheel being staggered. I'm tired of my wheel being all jigger jagger and looking like a triangle. I want to have a wheel. Do you know what I mean? I want my wheel to move. I don't want some like obscure shape anymore. So with that being said, the plan is to work on the side hustle and to work on creating this book and allowing people to follow my journey and allowing people to watch me become the best version of myself, God willing. And I want to show how I'm going to get the whole wheel moving. I want this to be a whole project. It's project makeover, baby. I'm trying to do a whole life audit, and the output of that will be the book, the finished piece, the final chapter. Like I said, I want to be a different person. No, I don't. No, I said it wrong. I don't want to be a different person. I still want to be me, but I want to be a rebranded version of me by next year, March. I'm excited, man. I'm excited. I'm excited to see where I'm going to be at by March. I think that's everything that I've covered. I'm sorry if this wasn't... Actually, I'm not sorry. I was going to say, I'm sorry if this wasn't entertaining. Obviously, you can watch it for entertainment, but more than anything, I do want to inspire people through my journey and change things. So, yeah, I mean, like I said, I didn't even read my notes too tough. And this is what I wanted, to be honest. Like, I want to be able to create videos that are authentic. I don't want to create videos that are really forced for me, because then it just won't feel real. I feel like I'm putting on a performance, and that's definitely not what I'm trying to do. I don't want to perform for people. I want to help people. I'm getting all emotional because I know that it genuinely does mean a lot to me to be able to like help people and be authentic and genuinely use this platform to have a voice and help people to find their voice. So yeah, am I even going to put this video out? I don't know. I will just be crying on YouTube for no reason if no one's going to watch it. Anyways, that is my first video. So hopefully you guys stick around to watch me do the next one and then the next one. I'm going to try and do 2 videos a week. That's the aim. And I'm going to keep on pushing. With that being said, thank you for joining me at Shiv's Trying a Thing. And I will continue to try a thing. And hopefully the thing will get tried and tested and done. Know what I mean? I'm just chatting rubbish at this point, so I'm going to go. But yeah, where is the off button? Bye! Thank you!